Zayn, it's Wade. Don't hang up. I just want to wish you a very happy birthday. Again. I also want to apologize for jumping out of the cake like that. I didn't realize it was the middle of the night. I had no idea I was in the middle of your bedroom. I want to thank your security, who were very, very gentle and creative with the taser. So anyway, happy birthday to you and Mr. Tim Horton. You share your birthday with a very special Canadian who's very near and dear to my heart. All right.
Hey everybody, big surprise. Ryan Reynolds has started the promotional tour, or at least the viral tour, leading up to some big Deadpool footage that they'll probably drop around the Super Bowl. Didn't know that he was that much of a Zayn Malik fan, but he has been known to pop out of cakes. If you're wondering what the Tim Horton shout-out was about, that's because Deadpool is Canadian, Ryan Reynolds is Canadian, so they always make lots of Canada jokes, and Tim Hortons is just one of the most popular big food chains. But if you guys didn't know, they just changed the release date of the film. I wasn't intending on making a video, but then they dropped this. So I was like, okay, perfect opportunity. And we can talk about why they moved the New Mutants movie, which was coming out in April. But if you're finding me for the first time, obviously you've seen from all the Infinity War and Black Panther's been dropping, there's only going to be even more cool stuff coming. So be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. But what's happening is Deadpool is now coming 2 weeks sooner on May 18th. So it used to be coming out the first week in June. Now you get to see it 2 weeks earlier. So everybody shout with joy, but a lot of it has to do with this domino effect with the Gambit movie. So really the problem is with the Gambit movie, and it's not as big of a problem as people think, because it's like the movie that's never going to get here. There's always delays. They announce a director, he has to leave because of scheduling issues. The latest series of events that all led to Deadpool being bumped up started with Gore Verbinski, who's the director on the Channing Tatum Gambit movie. He left. They said it was because of scheduling issues, but then later The Hollywood Reporter said that it was because of a tonal change in the film. Originally, I think the idea was to push for an R rating. It was going to be a heist film set in New Orleans, and it was going to flow more like a straight-up action film, just a really hardcore version of a Gambit movie. But then The Hollywood Reporter said that they wanted to change the tone of the film to a more hard R comedic film like Deadpool was. So that just required a different director because that's not the movie that Gore Verbinski signed on to direct. Usually that's what happens when a director and the studio disagree on the direction a film should take. Like when you heard about Tim Miller leaving the Deadpool film, they just had completely different ideas about what the sequel should be.
Writers have been working on the script. We already talked about who's going to be in it, aside from the key character. So the writers have been working on the script, and that's it. I just started some preliminary design, but beyond that, nothing much. Script comes first. Got to get that worked out.
So Tim Miller left, he signed on to that Terminator project that James Cameron's trying to do. They also just announced that he's going to do a Kitty Pryde Shadowcat movie too. Who knows if that'll ever get made, but that's kind of a separate issue. Gore Verbinski had been doing a lot of pre-production. He left the movie, and they're supposed to start shooting March 19th of this year, release the movie next year. So when you lose your director right before you're getting ready to shoot, it causes a bit of a scramble. So they might bump that date a little bit. But also, while this was happening, the New Mutants movie that was originally going to be coming out this April, it was going to be more of a smaller horror flick with the original New Mutants lineup. Even though Deadpool did debut in the New Mutants comic book, I don't think that he was going to appear in that movie in any way. But based on the success of things like Stranger Things and movies like It, the studio decided to turn it into more of a legit horror flick and just lean into the horror elements. So they bumped the movie 10 months, it's now February 2019, and that'll give them the time they need to reshoot whatever scenes they need to do to make it a scarier film. So when I say that, I don't know if the studio intends on turning it from more of a PG-13 movie into an R movie, like really going for horror It style. But I think they just sense the demand for that type of film, so they're like, okay, people are wanting to see New Mutants, but they're not banging down the door to see it, so it's okay if we bump that, and we'll just give them Deadpool a little bit sooner to placate them. So I kind of think that's why they bumped Deadpool up, because they sense that it's really strong, it's a movie that people are really looking forward to, and they had to shuffle all these other movies, so they're like, how do we make people happy? We'll give them some of that sweet Deadpool juice just a little bit sooner than we were originally intending to. which I think is a smart move on their part. And I think in addition to that, they're going to bump up their marketing campaign, which doesn't guarantee that we're going to get a Super Bowl trailer. But if they're starting to do things like this, like Ryan Reynolds is slowly popping up in people's Instagram feeds and little weird places, that means their viral campaign has started. Then they'll do more legit advertising as we get closer. So you remember the 12 Days of Deadpool, you remember all those funny promos that he did.
This message is brought to you by Deadpool.
Gentlemen, how well do you know your happy sack? I'm sure you rummage around downstairs more than Mommy would like, but it's time you started paying attention to your favorite pastime, because that bag of beans bouncing around in your hand could be trying to kill you. What? Yeah, because testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer in men aged between 15 and 35.
They'll find really weird, odd things and places for him to pop up that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like Avengers Infinity War is coming out at the beginning of May. Now we have Deadpool coming out in the middle of May. Then at the end is supposed to be Star Wars Han Solo. And I don't think that Deadpool has to worry about Han Solo at all. Like, people will go see a Star Wars movie because it says Star Wars, even if it's not the greatest movie ever. Deadpool may not crush Star Wars because it's Star Wars and it's so popular internationally, but Deadpool is such a bang-out hit that I think that it'll do just fine. The only downside is that it might affect Infinity War's chances of topping the box office from the first Avengers film, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they'll get close, but remember, the first Avengers movie back in 2012 did about $1.5 billion worldwide, so I think Infinity War does minimum $1 billion, $2 billion. Captain America Civil War was 1.1, so I don't think that Infinity War is going to have any problems cracking that $1 billion number. The question is will it reach $2 billion? Because people really like Marvel movies, but in order to reach that kind of Star Wars The Force Awakens number, you have to have the entire world going back to see the movie multiple times in the theater. It's not enough to just see the movie once. That gets you to that first billion. The second billion is driven by everybody going to see it a second, a third, a fourth time. So we'll see how that's affected by Deadpool and Star Wars coming out so quickly right after that. But for those of you asking, we will totally get a new Deadpool trailer relatively soon. Like, there'll be a new Infinity War promo pretty soon. Obviously, Black Panther's coming out in a couple weeks. So most of Marvel's marketing is going to be based around that, but then probably sometime before Infinity War, we'll see that Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer. I've started to get a lot of questions about that, so just leave all your questions in the comments below, and we'll find out more about which Super Bowl trailers are going to drop in the next week or two. They usually wait till the last minute to announce that kind of stuff. But if you didn't see it, I just posted a new Infinity War promo. You can click here to watch that and learn about the time travel theory. It's not quite what you think. And you can click here to rewatch the Deadpool trailer and learn all about the villains. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.